So this morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Avengers tickets went on sale. Methinks the movie theater apps felt that half the country would be asleep, right? Because that's 5 a.m. on the West Coast. But this is Avengers Endgame. Everybody was up, or at least enough people to crash all the apps. You guys are tweeting me about hour-long waits, having to physically go to the theater because you can't get the tickets online. We're talking human sacrifice, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. And you know what? Remember when Captain Marvel was coming out and a couple of trolls tried to float out the conspiracy theory that Disney had bought up all the screens for Captain Marvel, which of course was not true. But I think for Avengers Endgame, they're going to have almost every screen playing the movie, at least its opening weekend, because the theaters are going to want to go along with that because they're going to want to make their money too. And the concession stand sales as well. That's, the theaters can go along with that if they feel there's enough demand. So that's a really bad situation for all the movies that come out right before Avengers Endgame because they're going to lose their screens. But I think they have to do it because I think a number of you are going to be locked out. Because not only are people buying one set of tickets, but I've seen a couple of you tweet me that you've bought 3 sets of tickets for opening weekend, so you can see it every day consecutively. And so that's really high demand. It's going to make so much money. Avatar, Avengers Endgame has you in its box office sights. All right, so let's break this down. It's only a minute, but there's a lot of really great stuff to talk about. And boy, they're doing a good job confusing us as to the timeline. People's hair is changing left and right. I don't know what's happening when. And this is supposed to apparently be all from the first 15 to 20 minutes of the 3-hour movie. Oh, I can't wait. Except I'm sure the shots with Thanos at the end, I'm sure those are a little later on. All right, so we start out here at the Avengers compound at dusk. So magical, but they're like, don't show me a purple sky. It just makes me think of Thanos. So anyway, here's Bruce Banner and everybody doing like a little bit of slash Captain Obvious slash exposition man work. So it's like, we be going in light. I'm like, have you seen the roster? I think you guys will be fine. I'd be a little insulted if I were in the room. And he's like, we're understaffed. And I'd be like, who else do we need? They're like, have you seen what Captain Marvel can do? We should just put on a light show. All right, so anyway, now look at this. Look how depressed Thor is. He's eating carbs. Oh, that's when you know it's bad. Although I love that Chris Hemsworth can't even fully commit to eating the carbs. They're like, okay, you're eating some bread in this scene. And he's like, what do you want me to do? Please, anything else. So he's just picking at it. He's actually, I don't know, guys, any of you guys do eat bread like this? This seems to me like how a lot of women eat bread, right? Like, I really shouldn't, so I hate myself for doing it. And also, I think he's just contaminated the rest of the bread in that. I'd be like, take your bread out of the basket, Thor. I don't know where you've been. I like how they turned his soda can around because nobody was willing to pay for the product placement, apparently. I'd be like, who wants to be the soda of the apocalypse? And in the Avengers Endgame movie, somebody would have purchased that. I guess they didn't want to do the brand. So Don Cheadle's like, oh, all our friends are dead. And Natasha's like, don't remind me. This is a funny shot. I like her red hair so much better. So you'll see later in the trailer, I'm sad that she goes back to the blonde in the spaceship. But anyway, she doesn't look like she's being personally rained on, although it's raining on the bench behind her. So maybe she's found the one little covered section. And I mean, I don't know. It's like a pouring rain. You'd think it would be more apparent that she was getting rained on. She's using her spy skills to be in between the drops. Now this I thought was hilarious. The thing that, first of all, as I said when I did my reaction, that's a beautiful bathroom. And I think the Avengers are always being mean to Tony, but he provided these amazing facilities for them. They're just so nice. They can come back from saving the world and relax in a really nice environment. But anyway, I was looking through here for the breakdown, and I noticed that they had a dispenser of paper towels, hand towels, like a public restroom in the Avengers compound. And that was just so weird to me. Like, they're supposed to be like such a family, So you think, I don't know, but washcloth seems unsanitary, or like, regular hand towels, like you would have in a home. So I guess they have to have the paper towels. But then the other thing is, who's stocking that these days? Do they still have some Avengers staff left over? We've never seen any Avengers compound staff. We've always seen like S.H.I.E.L.D. staff, but who works in the mansion? Who's keeping this place clean? Do they have to take turns? Does Cap have to fill that? Cap would totally do it. Cap would be like, I'll go clean the bathroom. And where we keep the paper towels, I'll restock that. All right, he's looking a little slimmer than usual there. I don't know if I would have put him in the wife beater. But he's like, did you see my blue eyes though? And he's like, they do all the heavy lifting for me. I don't need any big muscles. And I'm like, you have a point there, Chris. So yeah, so he's looking in the mirror, being like, giving the smolder to cheer himself up. So they're still doing the 10. Now, so I believe that this is Tony and Nebula returning to Earth. So they finally got that thing kick-started. Maybe Captain Marvel's with them, as some of you have guessed. Because we do see later on in this very special look her piloting the ship. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But they've returned home. They're like, it seems a little 50% quieter here. Now this is amazing because remember, Rocket doesn't know that all of his friends were snapped away. So Nebula has to tell him. And I love that he holds her hand. I would love to hold Rocket Raccoon's hand. And I'm sure it's a rare treat, but I'm sure it's all cute and adorable and delicate and fluffy and soft. But yet also callous from holding all those guns. Oh, he's so cute. He's just adorable. He looks really cute there. He looks really sad. I'm excited to see Bradley Cooper have like a real range of emotion to portray with the character. Because usually Rocket Raccoon's pretty one note. All right, so there's Pepper, who apparently didn't suit up. I wonder when she's going to wear the rescue suit that we've seen. She leaked it herself. She's like, I look so great. I need more attention. Boy, I guess she was in a rush. I don't think her makeup looks very good there. I'd be like, Tony hasn't seen you for a very long time. I'd be like, I'll stall him. Take a few minutes, run into our gorgeous bathroom, and do a couple of touch-ups there, Pepper. But you can see Tony, looks like he has more makeup on than she does to make him look distressed, right? He's like all ashy. He's like, oh, so sick. I wonder if they digitally made him look, emaciated because, of course, they ran out of rations up there. So they're reunited. Back on the compound. Now that is his new suit for this movie. Some of you have guessed this might be the Battle for New York, but that's the new suit. Although we do suspect, of course, time travel is a big part of this movie. I don't love the yellow legs, the gold, I don't love the gold taking over the suit, but I'm starting to suspect that all three of the original MCU Trinity are going to die. So I guess it would be fitting for him to don the suit that looks closest to the original Iron Man suit from the comics. So there's like a cool legacy factor to this, even though I think it's the least attractive suit. I mean, it doesn't have. I'd be like, Tony, not exactly a slimming effect on your suit there, but it's an ode to the comics, so I appreciate it for that reason. So look at that. We were all like, we thought the Mohawk was crazy. He's got a tattoo sleeve? Like, what's happening? Although, did you hear Jeremy Renner is apparently dating Lady Gaga? Oh, wow. He's going to level up in a big way if that happens. That's what he's thinking right now. He's like, just you wait, Lord, as everyone likes to say. People are calling Bradley Cooper Lord Gaga, but apparently it's going to be Jeremy Renner. That's a crazy tattoo. I'd be like, hey, your wife and kids might come back and you're going to have to explain that. He's like, yeah, I'm going to explain how sad I was. And you can see by the length of my tattoo sleeve that I was pretty darn sad. Although he might go to Thanos and be like, can you snap away just a tattoo? Does it have to be a whole person? So, although he does coordinate it pretty nicely with his shirt. All right. Also, that wall behind him, is that the other side of the wall of the bathroom? I'd be like, can you see into the bathroom? All right, so anyway, they're like, we're all friends here. I'm like, I'm not close with any of you. So yes, they CGI'd her smile. And I think they saw a lot of us be like, Carol, why do you have to constantly be so difficult? One of you wrote that she was the Brussels sprout in a Christmas dinner. But you know what? Brussels sprouts are healthy for, that's your vegetable. So I think Captain Marvel does bring important elements to the table, and I want to like her. And I'm glad that the Russo brothers are trying to make that happen by giving her more of a smile. Her look is weird to me though, because she was so, I don't know how she got so glamorous when she was away. I hope they explain it. She's like, I spent a lot of time on a really posh alien planet. I think the Russo brothers they did such a great job with Black Widow, but for some reason with Carol, it doesn't really ring true, that look for her. And I think it's too similar to Black Widow, right? Like maybe Black Widow's helping her get ready. Maybe that's what it is. Black Widow's like, come with me, let's go to the ladies' room. I'm obsessed with Avengers bathrooms. So here, Captain Marvel's not in that group there. And this comes up when they say, we're the Avengers. There's Don Cheadle with his fake legs able to walk. That annoys me so much. It's such a cheat. There were no consequences to him falling out of the sky, except now he wears light up pants. Oh, boo-hoo. Nebula, I'm so glad that Nebula's on the team. That's great. And I like Scott Lang being on the team as well. He's great. I love Paul Rudd. I hope he has a lot to do in this movie. Sometimes people are like, I don't see Ant-Man in the shot. Maybe because he's small, right? You don't know. Rocket Raccoon's like, finally, someone smaller than me on the team. But that's an amazing Henley for Captain America. Whoever does his costume does a fit. They're like, one size smaller, please, right? Like, you just wear it, Chris. He's like, no bread for me. I'm surprised that Tony has to stand behind him. Tony's looking pretty nice too. That's a nice sweater. So that was, I don't know why Cap's so front and center in this movie, because they're supposed to be a team. So, I mean, maybe just Cap will die, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe all three of them do. All right, let's see. So here, now what's going on here? Tony's hair looks totally different. It looks lighter than it does in the other shot. And also, some of you have pointed out this seems to be a scene that when they had the dots on it for post-production, and Captain America was wearing his original suit from the first Avengers movie. So that makes me think maybe they'll do things to the timeline and their suits could change on them while they're walking around. That would be really cool. So, because like that, maybe that's why they would be wearing tracking dots on their actual costumes, so that they could do both. That's amazing. I'm really curious to see what's going on here. But I'm glad they're making up. I don't really know if they ever can totally make up, because of course Cap knew who killed Tony's parents and didn't tell him, and then tried to protect the murderer. I don't think you could ever totally come back from that, to be honest with you. But they're co-workers. It's the end of the world. They're trying to avoid the end of the world. They're just gonna have to put aside their differences. And so Tony's like, "Do you trust me?" And I like how Cap pauses for a moment, and takes a deep breath, and he's like, "I do." I believe Cap. I think I could see Cap lying. I mean, he lied about knowing that. I guess he didn't actually lie. He just didn't tell Tony if he wants to get around having to actually been a liar. So I'm sure some of you are like so upset right now who are Cap fans. But, I don't think Cap's as, lily white as like he pretends. So they shake on it. What's with Tony's sleeves? Wow. That's crazy sleeves there, Robert Downey Jr. It's so funny. Chris Evans wears clothes that are a size too small. For some reason, Robert Downey Jr. always wears clothes that are a couple sizes too big. All right. So on April 26th, and we're like, we know. Now look at it take off like that. If I were Star Wars, I'd be like, I'm going to sue you, but it's the same company, so I guess they're stuck. But I'm like, what's that, Avengers Lightspeed? God damn it. So, but it looks cool. It always looks cool whenever anybody does it. So they take off. And I love that Carol's co-piloting. I mean, I question as to whether or not she'd be more valuable on the outside of the craft. Maybe at the speed. She can probably go that fast. But, because she's a big gun. Although they did do that a little bit, of course, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with a number of the Guardians, ejecting themselves to fight out in space. But I like that she's co-piloting along with Rocket. I think that's really great, because it's a nod, of course, to her pilot origins. Now look at Black Widow. How did her hair get blonde again? What happened? Did she do it? Did she redo it? She's like, I can't show up to Thanos with this ombre hair. Are you kidding me? Hold on. So I don't know what's going on with the timeline. And if they're going to space here, when do the white suits come into play? As I told you, they're doing a good job of us having really no idea what's going to happen, which is great. So this was shown at the event at the Disney stockholder meeting, and apparently there's a good gag where they're like, "Who's been to space before?" and who hasn't been to space, and both Captain America and Black Widow have not. I don't think Rhodey has either. I don't see Tony on the ship either. I wonder, and of course some of you said Scott's not here. I don't know quite where they are. Maybe they're on a separate mission. Maybe they're just in the back. I don't know. It seems like all the seats are taken. Now, I agree. That's quite sad. Everyone, and you can see they're having a good time with each other, giving each other bunny ears, the certificates upside down. Good times when Peter and Tony would goof around, a father figure and a son figure to each other, both missing that in their lives. Tony, of course, been talking quite a bit lately about having a child, and Peter was kind of that kid. Oh, the feels. There are the feels. There they are, right on Robert Downey Jr.'s face. He seems to be, where is that? He's like, someone not clean up this kitchen again? This looks like maybe the kitchen on the ship. I'm not sure. That looks very human though. I don't know where he is. All right, someone's not been cleaning the dishes. That's also why he's sad. He's like, as if I don't do enough around here. Remember how he lost his temper about how dirty it was in Civil War? All right, so I don't know what's going on with this ship. I thought Thanos retired to a farm, but maybe he's like, I gotta go back to work. He was just on vacation. He just took a little bit of a break after, he's like, I'm taking a 2-week vacation. I'll be back. So we're back in space. And there's, and there's Nebula being like, I remember that place. It was so much torture and a hellish experience for me. But I got to go back and finish the job. And I look at Don Cheadle looking at her. That's great. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to let you do it. You go in and do it. I don't want to do it. I already sacrificed my legs, kind of. All right. Or maybe he's like, hey, we're both part machine, baby. Wink, wink. All right. So there's Thor. Something shocking has happened. And then Rocket Raccoon. I'm getting a lot of emotional shots here in a row. And then there's Cap in his beautiful newest suit with the Avengers logo on the shoulder. And he's like, it's not looking good, but he's still got that shield nicely in the foreground. That looks great. He's earned it back, right? And then there's Thanos. Thanos came to play. So he's got his armor on, his full armor, and you'll see something else momentarily. All right, so he's like, oh yeah. And part of me was like, Thanos, stop monologuing. But I have to say, in the last, in Infinity War, I always thought Thanos had pretty interesting things to say. I didn't think he was ever wasting time when he spoke. And sure enough, a lot of people, I don't love this line so much about where did your failure, you couldn't stand your failure or something, and so where did it bring you back to me? And I'm like, yeah, I don't love that too much. That seems a little bit too self-congratulatory. Thanos is usually dropping truth bombs that are undeniable, although I guess they are back to him, right? But I'm excited. Josh Brolin does a great job with this character, and so I'm very excited to see where he could possibly take it at this point. All right, so this is a little too CGI to me. I'm like, you're so obviously on a green screen. I wonder what happened here, though. I wonder what's been destroyed. If something else bad has happened, or maybe the ship crashed or something. Another ship crashed. But there's Tony. I like Tony walks a little robotically in his suit. Now, there they are. Boy, that is a tight suit, Tony. This is one time where Tony's clothes are very, very tight. I don't know how that, it's so tight. I'm like, I guess they use the excuse of nanotech, but I'm like, how does that give you any boost or protection? It looks like Lycra. Like you have to pull that on, Tony. And so there's Cap's boots, looking very supermodel fashion-y with all the buckles. And that's Thor. So it's the original Trinity coming up to take care of business. And I wonder if they'll all die, or maybe some of them will die and some of them will be like injured to the point where they have to at least take a break. I think you're going to really see a passing of the torch to the new group of Avengers. That's, come to think of it, maybe that's how this movie will end, with a new Avengers lineup to go into the next phase, which I think would be a wonderful springboard and give us plenty to talk about. So I'm all for it. Now they're coming up to Thanos, who you can see here doesn't seem to have his helmet on. It looks like some of you think he's on his knee. I think he's sitting down. I think he's taking a break. I think maybe they got him on the ropes. He's put his sword down. You can see he's got a double-edged sword, Darth Maul style. Daisy Ridley didn't do it, unfortunately, but Thanos is taking it up. Again, Star Wars is like, stop copying me. All right, so I think they're gonna I think both of them are on the ropes, and it's gonna be the final showdown. And there's the logo, Avengers Endgame. All the money in the world. It's that great joke from Spaceballs, the search for more money. And I'd be like, I think you found all the money. It's what I think what might happen. All right, so what do you think? Do you have your tickets? How many times are you seeing this opening weekend? Share your experiences about getting your tickets down below and what your theories are for Avengers Endgame. Thanks for going over this with me. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.